Look at this clip.
要我就要这3个杯子里的中杯。
对不起，先生，这个是大杯。
The first time I saw it, I thought it was completely absurd. But after laughing, I started to wonder if a highly logical adult can be driven to a mental breakdown just by the size of a coffee cup. What kind of fatal trap is hidden in Starbucks' naming system? I don't know if you've ever experienced this exact same moment. You stand at the Starbucks counter, point to the cup that is clearly the smallest, and say, "I'll have a small." The barista politely but firmly corrects you. "I'm sorry, sir, that's a tall. Our short size is not on the menu." In your cognitive algorithm, large, medium, and small are absolute physical logic. But in Starbucks' business system, this logic has been forcibly rewritten. This isn't just a little trick about naming cups. It's an elaborate cognitive arbitrage designed to exploit the bugs in the human brain. Welcome to the Sober Lab. Today, we will completely untangle the business psychology secret that has driven countless rational adults into confusion. We'll look at how top-tier players use a simple menu to rewrite your decision-making path in just a few seconds, making you willingly pay a premium for an illusion called the middle ground. To understand this logic, let's first look at a famous underlying bug in psychology, the decoy effect. Let's build a simplified model. Assume the menu only has 2 sizes. A 12-ounce small cup sells for $3.45, and a 20-ounce large cup sells for $4.25. At this point, your brain enters a rational struggle. Some choose the small because it's enough to drink, while others choose the large because it's a better deal. The power of choice is in your hands. But suddenly, the merchant shoves a medium cup into the middle. 16 ounces, priced at $3.75. Attention, your decision-making system instantly collapses. The only purpose of the $3.75 medium cup is to make the $4.25 large cup look like an extreme bargain. Why? Because upgrading from a small to a large costs an extra 80 cents, but upgrading from a medium to a large only costs 50 cents. 50 cents for an extra 4 ounces of coffee, and your brain immediately screams, "Worth it." The medium cup has fulfilled its historical mission. It wasn't meant to be bought. It was meant to push you toward the more expensive option. Here, the medium cup is not a product at all. It is a decoy, a shill, planted in your brain by actuaries. But if you think this is Starbucks' only trick, you severely underestimate this business empire. That was only the first layer. What's even smarter about Starbucks is how it activates a million-year-old instinct in your brain: extremeness aversion. In the primeval forest, picking the highest fruit was risky, and eating the lowest roots could mean poison. Human ancestors learned one trick: always choose the one in the middle, because the middle is the safest. While this is just a metaphor, extremeness aversion is a very real psychological phenomenon. How does Starbucks use it? They simply hide the short cup from the menu. The 3 options you see become tall, grande, and venti. Your brain immediately activates extremeness aversion. Does the tall look too stingy? Is the venti too excessive? Consequently, the grande, which also happens to be the most profitable, becomes the most decent, safest choice in your eyes. You think you are making a free choice. In reality, you are just executing a piece of preset code within the safe zone drawn by the other party. Why does this trick work every single time? Because the human brain has a fatal flaw: relativity bias. Your skin cannot sense specific temperatures. It can only sense if it's colder or hotter than before. Your eyes cannot measure exact brightness. They can only sense if it's brighter or darker than before. Our brain is naturally a machine that only knows how to compare. By using names like tall, grande, and venti, Starbucks raised your internal baseline. When tall becomes the smallest size, a subconscious suggestion is quietly implanted in your brain. Everything here is high spec. There is no entry level. If even the smallest one is called tall, How can you have the nerve to complain it's too small? The deeper truth is the paradox of choice. Social psychologist Barry Schwartz said, "The more options people have, the more anxious they become, and the less satisfied they are with their purchase." Starbucks appears to give you many combinations, but on the crucial decision of cup size, it has already eliminated the most stingy and most excessive options for you. You don't need to stress over it. They have already written the answer for you. Popcorn at the movie theater, annual gym memberships, they are all running the exact same script, using a decoy to make you feel like the middle option is a steal, so you happily fork over more cash. Why does the Pro version of the iPhone always make you feel like adding a little more gets a huge upgrade, but adding even more is too much? Why is there always an entry-level model with terrible value on a car's spec sheet? It's all the same principle, creating a logic collapse, then guiding you to slide toward that high-profit exit. When you realize all this, the next time you return to the Starbucks counter, you will find that the menu is not a price list at all, but an experimental record sheet for neuroscience. And you are the test subject. So, what should you do? Insist on ordering that hidden shortcut to fight the system? Sure, you can. But true awakening is realizing that these guided choices are everywhere. In a world co-built by actuaries, psychologists, and data engineers, most choices are actually just the remainder left after the algorithm has filtered them. Seeing through this isn't about saving a few bucks. It's to remind you, when you think you are freely making the optimal choice, look up who exactly controls the interface that defines your large, medium, and small. In a world full of grandes and ventus, the Sober Lab has decided to be the hidden short cup, small in volume, but absolutely sober. Click subscribe, and the next time you order, don't forget to look at who is handing you the cup.